Hey, welcome back to a blunt discussion. I'm your host, Lici, and today we're going to be talking about meat and murder. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the phrase, meat is murder. Now, if you're not familiar with that particular phrase, it's used by people who do not condone the eating of meat because they see it as murder. It's taking the life of another living creature and then you're eating it, and so pretty much murder in their eyes. And so, anyway, I wanted to talk about this because it's something that I see pop up a lot. I have a few vegan friends, and then I also, I was very into the paleo community for a while there, and so I got a lot of people who are very anti vegan, and so it's interesting to kind of see the different sides of the argument. It, it may come down to what is just really semantics, but the definition of murder is specifically the intentional act of killing a fellow human being, and so of a human killing another human. And so, because of that definition, to me, meat really isn't murder unless you're eating human meat. And I know that may not really hold a lot of weight for people who believe that meat is murder because it is another life. They don't think it should die, and I agree. I see their perspective and I get their point of view. I just it doesn't work for me. It's kind of one of those things like I do see a difference. It's weird. I don't see it necessarily as lesser or more. To me, there's just a difference between a human life and an animal life. Just like how I see a difference between an elephant versus a tuna. Like an elephant's basically a person, but like a tuna, eh, what's really going on in that? In the grand scheme of things, I do place human life higher than animal life. I I don't really understand how some people can make like genuinely equate the two. I can and then I can't. Again, I'm very much into the idea of really seeing both sides of a particular argument, and so I really do agree with both sides in the sense that I get that it is a life, but then where do you draw the line? Because I know some people who see no problem with eating fish, but then will eat beef. Or they won't eat chicken or beef, but they will eat cows. Or then I know some people who refuse to even use honey because it's used by bees, but then they also will eat eggs because I don't. There's just a lot of different people, and again, everybody's welcome to live their own life, but it's just, I guess, for me, if I was so passionate about a particular subject, such as, eating meat or not eating meat, I would try to find the best way of trying to convey my message and to get other people onto my side, or at least be more open to my way of thinking. And I feel when you use hyperbolic statements that are somewhat inflammatory, you kind of you lose the high ground, basically. And I don't really think I really don't think there's anything really incorrect about what the phrase is. It's more a semantics thing, I guess, and that's what I'm a stickler for. So it's really hard to say. But for me, like for example, no one's going to go around and start, compare and making people make this decision. But if I had to choose between saving a baby or, a puppy, like they were like, you have to kill one or the other or they're both gonna die. Um, in order to save one or the other, I feel like I'd have to kill the puppy. I wouldn't want to kill the puppy, but I don't know. Like they're both gonna die. I could save one. I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about, but it's how I'm like. Could I kill one or the other? I know I couldn't kill a baby. No, I could not. I could probably kill a puppy if had to save a baby, which is how I know, to me, that there's a difference between the two. And that's a puppy. That's like my favorite animal over humans, so I don't even know. But, you know, I guess this is kind of like a non-argument or just kind of an interesting thought experiment as far as like, you know, what does that phrase really mean, you know, to the people who are saying it and to the people who hear it. You know, like when you hear the words meat is murder, what do you think? Do you think, oh, you know, do you feel guilty? Like, do you feel bad for eating meat? Personally, I don't feel bad for eating meat, but also I do feel bad for partaking in factory farming and conventional meat eating, just because that is wasteful and detrimental to our environment, and that's a whole other video and a whole other discussion. But due to just the way the world is, you know, that's kind of where I go. But luckily, I do have a little bit more leeway as far as resources and getting food from a more sustainable resource. Not everybody has that option. And, you know, personally, I don't think a vegan diet, unless you're, you know, actually kind of taking care of yourself, which a lot of people I know who eat vegan probably take way better care of themselves than people who don't. But I do know a few who all they do is eat pretty much Oreos and saltines. And I'm like, well, you know, when you hear the words meat is murder, what do you think? Do you see like where they're coming from? Do you think, oh, that's ridiculous? I've seen some people actually take it and try to own it. A butcher shop near me actually uses meat is murder, tasty, tasty murder on some of their reusable bags. And like to me, that's just as ridiculous as the phrase meat is murder, just because I'm like, just see, it's just silly. It's such a weird thing. And it's one of those things where I really don't feel like anyone's really listening to either side of the argument. No one's really trying to get the other side to see their point of view. They just kind of want to annoy each other. But anyway, so what do you think? I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I'd like to hear your side of this particular discussion. So thanks for joining me in a blunt discussion. Look forward to hearing what you think about this particular topic. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Bye.